Hello and welcome back. I just love those rain sounds. All right, so here's my thoughts here on something I'm finding absolutely ridiculous. Is the $15 minimum wage, and it should not be 15. And I'll just jump right in and give my couple of reasons why. For one, it's just well known, and it's been shown time and time again that when you raise minimum wage, you're going to cut jobs. You can't support the same amount of jobs as you can with a lower minimum wage. I'm going to kind of iterate some things that Thomas Sowell talked about, was that the point of minimum wage, for one, was to have a wage that was livable, yes. But the other thing for minimum wage, the other point to minimum wage, is that it's supposed to be a wage at which it was supposed to bring up the poverty level. It was supposed to enfranchise, and it was supposed to help those who were poor or those who had less education to have a more livable wage. Well, what happens is, so let me start by saying that you cannot control what the minimum requirements are for a job. You know, you'll always have that box in a job that says, all other tasks as assigned. I'm not going that way, right? And so, or with the other one that says relevant job experience. And so, if you have two people, one has more experience than the other, right? Then the employer is going to look for the person who has the more job experience. And so, it could be regardless of education. One person could have more education than the other, but the other person could have more job experience. I'm kind of getting off topic a little bit. I'm going in a different direction. What I'm trying to say is, and Thomas Sowell says this too, it's easier for companies to discriminate against people when there's a higher wage, because you obviously want the best of the best. If you're paying people $15 an hour, you're going to want the best of the best. You're going to want that person who has a bachelor's degree and has more experience and this and that. Well, there's very few people, statistically speaking, in the United States that has a bachelor's degree. Look it up. It's actually interesting how many people actually have a bachelor's degree in the United States. Anyway, if you have a minimum wage that's very low, it doesn't matter who you give the money to. Right? Okay, so what? Here's whatever an hour, $3.50, $4, $5 an hour. You're going to get more applicants. You're not necessarily going to get more applicants, but you're going to get a wider range of people who are going to apply. So kind of going back to the beginning, when minimum wage was first established, when you actually look before minimum wage was established, you're actually going to find that black people were actually more employed than white people before the minimum wage. And then ever since you had a minimum wage, white people have been employed more so. And black people, ever since the minimum wage, black people have had the higher minimum wage. I'm sorry, black people have had the higher unemployment rate. There we go. Black people have had the more unemployment rate. What this is saying is that your education and your experience matter. And it's going to be harder if you don't have all of those things, right? And so having a less, ooh, this is going to be tight. There we go, we're fine. Having a job with a lower minimum wage is going to encourage those who have zero to minimal experience. Because when you have a low minimum wage, when you have a job that's lower minimum wage, typically less is required of it. And so the point of having a higher wage, say $15 an hour, is supposed to be after you've had some experience, after you've had time in the workforce, right? You're not supposed to have a living wage. You're not supposed to make a living flipping hamburgers. That's an entry-level teenage position. You're not supposed to have a living stocking shelves. That would be for more people who are retired or people who are literally just starting out in the workforce. There's a ladder, you've got to climb it. When you force jobs to say, hey, you need to pay people $15 an hour, it's not worth it to the employers to have 100 million stockers. You know, just pay fewer people and tell them to work a little harder. So, alright, those are going to be my thoughts. Let me give you one more here with the minimum wage. I think the minimum wage should be zero. There is no minimum wage. It should be it should be negotiated based on your experience, based on what you have. And so you have to be able to, you should be able to negotiate what you have or what you should earn based on those merits, not necessarily what people say you should earn. You know, you should figure out what you're worth. You should figure out what your skills are worth and not expect a wage. That's my thought. All right, well, thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.